Good day. This week, Semper Fortis Jiu Jitsu question of the week. We're going to continue to talk about a playlist that's available on our channel on how to start a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu school. And I have several videos up, and I'm adding a video for this week because something new came up in the business of running the Jiu Jitsu school that I experienced, and I'm going to share that experience with you. And if you're interested in learning about it, please click like, subscribe, and check out the video playlist after you watch this video, and hopefully it can help you grow. And as always, if you have any questions about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or running a school, feel free to contact me with a question below and say, hey, how about this? And I'll do my best to share, my knowledge with you. So what I experienced over the past several months is Semper Fortis Jiu-Jitsu has been open here for 9 years. So every 3 years I renew my lease with the landlord, and there's usually an increase in the rent requirements, and it's a process of negotiation. And this negotiation was the most unpleasant of all, and it was so unpleasant, and I thought so unreasonable on behalf of the corporation that is the commercial realty that owns this commercial realty, that I seriously contemplated relocating the school and or just outright closing the school. Because I'm 57 years old, and as I'm going through the process, I'm like, I do not need this kind of aggravation in my life. And I can tell you, dealing with corporations, big corporations, and commercial realty is an unpleasant experience because commercial landlords, I would say they give slumlords a bad name because literally they offer no support for the building. You are responsible for everything. So like there's a nail salon next door to my school. 3 times the pipes have busted in the walls, and it's flooded out my school over the past 3 years, and it's caused me several $1,000s worth of damage on my mats, on my wood floors, my wood structures. And each time the landlord's like, not our problem, that's you in the nail salon, you guys work it out. And it's like, okay, aggravating, but it's like, it's business. Well, so my lease is ends scheduled to end November 1st. And this structure was built in 2005. The HVAC unit was installed in 2005 and has never been replaced and has severely degraded. There's a leak in it, in the coils. It needs to be replaced. And it's causing my electric bill to go up, and I'm having to put, Freon into the coils. It's a problem. And as part of the negotiation, I'm like, the property owner is like, we want to increase your rent, and here's the new 3-year lease proposal. And I'm like, no, you're not increasing my rent, and you need to do something with this HVAC unit. And they're like, no, the HVAC unit is your responsibility to replace. And I was like, my responsibility to replace during the lease. So if it had failed last year, my responsibility to replace. But it is currently still working, just degraded. And if you want a new lease, you need to replace it. So that's where our negotiations started a couple months ago. And they're like, no, we want our rent increase. And if you want a new HVAC unit, you replace it. And then they came back with a proposal. They're like, well, we'll give you a 5-year proposal with increases over all 5 years that would ultimately result in me paying for this HVAC unit. And mind you, let's say I leave here in 5 years, or I leave in 3 years. I don't get to take the HVAC unit with me. And this is a $15,000 job. I went and got 3 different estimates. The landlord, the corporation that runs and owns this property, they got their estimate, and their estimate was like $20,000. And they're like, we want you pay for it. But basically they were saying they would finance me. That was their best offer. They would finance me to buy the unit. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I'm talking to these people and they're trying to explain to me that, they're in the business of making a profit. And I'm like, well, what do you think I'm in the business of? And this just kept going on and on and on. And they wouldn't budge. And I went as far as to say, I will pay for half the unit. And you pay the other half. And you get to keep it. It's not like I take it. And they're like, no, you pay for it all. And so, mind you, November 1st was ending. They sent me an email Thursday saying, hey, they made another proposal, but they're like, if you don't accept it, we're putting up a for rent banner on your business this Monday. And I'm cussing. I'm like, these people. I'm not cussing at them because I'm not indirect. This was just like an email. I'm like, these people. And I had just set my mind. I'm like, I will relocate the school or we'll just close it. But then I started to look at the cost of relocating the school. Finding a new place, moving everything over. And that got close to the cost of a new AC unit, a new HVAC unit. And then I looked at, well, maybe I just close. I'm 57, I don't need this kind of aggravation. And then my wife was not happy with that. My kids were not happy with that. Of course, my students wouldn't be happy with it. And so that was like an emotional decision that was now taking a factor. Because I have certain students that have gone from white belt to brown belt with me that I want to see go all the way to black belt. And it's like, man, if I just close, then, I can't do that. I can't see that dream happen. And, I had to weigh a lot of different things out. And that's the trick with business. People think business is easy. Like, oh, you just throw some mats down. Or, if you're running a restaurant, you're running a bar, a phone repair place, whatever kind of small business you're doing. Or, like next door, there's a nail salon. To the person that's never run a business, they think, oh, this is just easy. But there's a lot to this. And dealing with a commercial landlord, because all it is I'm dealing with a company that's called like MEMCO, which is just the real estate company that manages the property for the corporation that owns the property, that's trying to maximize their profits. So, I had to weigh all these things out, and then I ultimately applied a Jiu Jitsu principle to it, which one of the first things you learn in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu when you come through the door is, we'll tell you, leave your ego at the door. The ego is not going to help you. It's going to hurt you in your sparring. It's going to hurt you in your training. And I thought about that in my negotiations with this property owner. That really, I wanted to keep my school. And I wanted to stay here. And what was preventing me from signing a contract or and doing anything in the negotiation ultimately was my ego, because I felt and still feel that their proposal was incredibly unfair to put the entire burden on me. This is a 20-year-old unit. You should do some basic maintenance to your property before you rent it. And I even said, look, man, you can either replace the unit for me, and I've never missed a payment, never been late on a payment for 9 years, or you can replace the unit for a new tenant, and however long it takes you to find that tenant, and good luck with that. And then maybe they're going to pay, or maybe they're not. And man, they was holding out, and I was ready to walk away. And so finally, they shot me a proposal. I think it was Friday. I'm making this video on Sunday, and I'll release this tomorrow, Monday. Now that I'm retired from the Navy, I can't even tell you what the date is. We're like late October. But basically, you'll see this video the day after I made it. So they shoot me an email with a reduced proposal, still putting the majority of HVAC replacement on me. And I looked at it, went and walked my dogs, thought about it, slept on it, and came to the ultimate decision that I would sign this new proposal 5-year lease, even though I feel it's unfair to me, that I would leave my ego at the door on this business dealing and continue to run this school. So I have signed a new lease for the next 5 years. I will remain here in San Antonio, running Semper Fortis Jiu Jitsu with my wife and the other instructors on our team, and continue this for at least the next 5 years. So hopefully you get something out of this. Feel free, if you've ever done commercial realty negotiations with your business, to share your experiences below so we can all learn. And feel free to critique my approach. Like, some people are going to say you should not have agreed. Some people are going to say no, it was a fair deal. Whatever your insights are, feel free to share below, and we'll all learn and grow from it. And if you're looking at doing a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school and you're watching this video and you're thinking about a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school or even a business, watch the playlist. I'll probably include the playlist right up here. And I've got, 7, 8, 9, 10 videos in there. And I talk about my lessons learned and things that will help you in running your small business, so it could be very beneficial to you. All right. Thank you. Got a question for next week? Feel free to fire below. Until then, ciao.